Hello. Hi, good morning to all VV80 students. So here I am going to discuss about Unit 2 of Basic Electrical and Electronics Engineering subject, second part, DC motor. So as already we have discussed about DC generator in previously, when we are discussing about the constructional details of the DC generator, whatever we have discussed, the constructional details of the DC generator is same as that of the DC motor. But what is the function of the DC generator? So that is always which takes the mechanical input and converts into electrical energy output. So as in the case of DC motor, there is a basic difference, just exactly opposite which is happening as in the case of DC motor. So it is an electric motor is a machine which converts electrical input energy into mechanical energy output. That is the basic function of the DC motor. So here the basic working principle of the DC motor we are going to discuss as the first part. So whenever a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, it experiences a mechanical force. So that force direction is given by the Fleming's left hand rule. Here we have to calculate the magnitude of the force experienced by a conductor, which is calculated by using the below formula here. So that is F is equal to BIL sin theta, which I shown in the yellow color. So F is equal to BIL sin theta. So that is exactly we can calculate how much force which is experienced by a conductor. So here F is nothing but force in newtons and B is the magnetic flux density in Weber per meter square, and I is the current in amperes. So that is how much current which is flowing through the conductor, and L is the length of the conductor in meters. So here sin theta, what it is representing exactly here, the angle position. So that is the angle position which I am showing here. So figure B. So that is the, here we are placing the conductor in between the two magnetic fields. So that is the north and south pole. So we have taken as the field, so magnets, and in between there is a magnetic field which is flowing through this direction. So that is always which flows from north to south direction, which I have shown exactly here. So that is the magnetic field produced due to these two magnetic field poles. So that is from north to south. So this is the direction which I have shown here exactly in this diagram. So here in between there is a conductor we are placing. So that conductor which is rotating with the angular position of the rotor. So angular position. So with the magnetic field direction, So whenever this angle theta, which is, if it is showing as 0 degrees exactly, so here when theta is the angle between the position of the conductor and direction of the magnetic field, when theta is equal to 0 degrees. So if it is 0 exactly, so what we can assume that here the conductor and magnetic field both are in parallel direction, So there will be no force. So we can say that almost force is 0. So that is nothing but what we can get from that figure which is representing. So when the conductor is in parallel with the magnetic field, the angle will become 0, theta is 0, and there will be no force which is produced in this. When theta is equal to, so if we are changing the angle, that is the rotor position of the conductor position, if we are changing from 0 to some 30 degrees or 45 degrees. So definitely there will be some force which is produced on the conductor. And similarly when theta is equal to, if we have taken the theta is equal to 90 degrees. So if you have taken the theta is equal to 90 degrees, so definitely sine 90, it will become 1. So, there will be maximum force which is induced in this conductor. And similarly, we can calculate for different angles of the theta. So, how much force could be produced, that can be calculated. So, similar manner. So, when theta is equal to some 135 degrees and 180 degrees, and what happens when it is becomes 225 and 230, 245, so 260 up to 300 and 360 degrees. So, when theta is equal to, when it is changing, definitely there will be the force how it could be changing. So, that can be analyzed in that equation. So, definitely. So, now next, what is the, how the rotor should be armature rotate. So, that is the rotor part we have taken. So, that is what we have discussed in the construction of the DC machine itself. When I am last class, I am discussing about the DC generator part. So, the constructionally there is no difference between the DC generator and DC motor, and only we can expect there is a change in the principle of the DC generator and DC motor. So, only the principle which is changing. So, that is nothing but how the rotor armature could be rotating. So, when the DC supply is given to the motor, a direct current passes through brushes, commutator and armature winding. So, these are the different parts already we have discussed. So, the main parts, that is nothing but in case of motor also we have to take it as some stator part should be there. So, that is the magnetic field here, whatever the magnetic field is there. So, that could be taken as, this is the diagram which is showing here exactly what it is representing. So, that is nothing but here this is the north and south which is taken as magnetic field poles. So, these are the stator parts we have considered, and this is a 2-pole DC machine which is representing exactly 2-pole DC machine. So, this is the 2-pole DC motor which I have shown here, and these are the north and south poles, that was the 2 field winding poles which is taken as stator parts, and in between we are placing the armature conductors. So, in similarly just we have given some example previously which are shown in the figure B, that is the conductor. So, whatever the conductor, that should be taken treated as armature conductors here. So, this is the rotating part. So, this rotor could be rotating with the angular position of the magnetic field. So, whatever the magnetic field which is produced by these 2 stator poles, so that you can treat it as stator parts, and this armature that could be taken as exactly here. So, this is the rotor part, armature part which is could be taken as conductor. So, similarly here there are 2 parts. So, these are the 2 main important parts we have considered as in case of DC motor. So, when it passes through commutator, it converts DC to AC. So, that is nothing but here the commutator part which is always converts. So, if you have given, it converts DC supply. So, that is nothing but according to the principle of the DC motor. So, we are going to give some supply, input supply to the input. So, that is motor, that could be taken as input as electrical input power we are giving. So, that is DC supply. So, we are giving DC supply. So, that could be converts this commutator into AC. So, whatever input supply we have given to this DC motor, so initially it converts DC into AC. That is the purpose of the commutator. So, that is the purpose of the commutator. So, but as in the case of DC generator, we are getting AC, and that could be the commutator which is converting into DC, and finally the DC output we are getting. So, here exactly DC input we are given to the DC motor such a way that the commutator mainly which converts DC into AC first. So, therefore, the group of conductors under the influence of north pole and south pole carry currents in the reverse direction. So, here basically what is happening, so when the DC supply is converting into AC, and there should be some, because of the magnetic field, so there will be some upward force here as in the case of north pole, across the north pole. So, there will be some upward force, and there will be some downward force across the south pole, there will be some downward force. So, here how to represent this difference, upward force and downward force. So that's why I have represented across the north poles, these are the dotted portion which I have shown. So exactly here these are the dotted portion. So here dotted portion, and across the south pole we have shown there is a cross. So that is nothing but this could be treated as downward, and dot portion is nothing but upward force. So there will be more upward force in the across the north pole, and there will be more downward force in the south pole. So that is nothing but, so the magnetic field more will be strengthened at the here the front part of the north pole. So that is top portion of the north pole, and here down part of the north pole there will be less force. Similarly here south pole of the down part there will be more force which is down, and across here south pole of the top there will be less force. So that is nothing but here exactly the force which is flowing from north pole of the top portion to south pole of the down part. So exactly in these two parts there will be more force. So this is upward force across the north pole, and there will be more downwards across the south pole. So in this way we can say that there could be how it could be operating as in case of DC motor. So how the force here, there is a much force which you can analyze across the top part of the north pole and bottom part of the south pole. So there will be more force which could be produced as in case of DC motor. So this is what we have represented here. Let the current in the armature conductors be outward under the influence of north pole, so that is shown by dots, and inwards, so that is under the influence of the south poles. So here one more thing, exactly what we need to calculate, so that is direction of the force on each conductor can be, how it could be determined. So this is next objective. So here there will be some current and force, everything which is produced. So how to represent the direction of the force? So here the direction of the force could be represented by using, there will be some whatever the exactly. So that could be, force direction could be determined by using Fleming's left hand rule. So here we can show the Fleming's left hand rule, what it is representing exactly. You can see that Fleming's left hand rule. So if the first finger, so you have to take the left hand rule. So you have to take the left hand of the, there will be three fingers. So thumb, first finger and second finger we have to take, and we have to keep these three mutual perpendicular to each other, and here this thumb indicates the direction of the force, and the first finger which is shows the always the magnetic field, and this finger, middle finger, which shows the current direction. So if you are keeping all these three fingers should be mutually perpendicular with each other. So definitely this is the Fleming's left hand rule. According to that, so here which I have shown exactly, the thumb indicates force direction, and whatever the force which is produced by the armature conductors, this is the direction, and this is the magnetic field direction, and this is the thumb which indicates the current direction. In this way we can find out, so whatever the direction of the current, force, and whatever the magnetic field direction. So this is what we can go for Fleming's left hand rule. So but as in case of generator we are used, so for representation of that we have taken, there is a, so definitely right hand thumb rule we are going to use it. So here also the thumb indicates the force and whatever the magnetic field direction, and this is the current direction which is showing. So that is the basic difference. Here we can represent exactly. So if you are using right hand, so that is right hand thumb rule, and if you are using left hand, and there should be left hand thumb rule. So basically everybody they will confuse which rule is for generator and which rule is for motor. And here I can give some tip, simple tip. So that is the generator case. Generator case, definitely in the case of spelling GENERATOR, so there will be in the spelling of the generator there are two R's. There are two R letters we are getting. So we can go for right hand rule, RHR, right hand rule, RHR. In the spelling of RHR also there are two letters, R letters are there. So simply we can say that generator. So that is nothing but always right hand rule we are going to use. And in case of motor spelling, MOTOR, so there is only one R. So in the left hand rule, LHR, so there is only one R. So I can go for left hand rule which is used for motor case. And RHR, there are two R's in the generator also spelling. So that's why I can go for right hand rule which is used for generator case, and LHR which can be used for motor case. In this way we can simply remember so which rule is used for which type of machine. So that is the Fleming's left hand rule. And next here, what is the back EMF? So here there is a back EMF. So why we are calling as back EMF as in case of motor case? Exactly. So as in the case of generator, we have calculated the generated EMF. So here we have calculated the generated EMF as in the case of generator part. So but in case of why you are calling as back EMF as in case of motor. So that's why in the generator case, generated EMF we are calculated, and EG is equal to, we are getting 5 Zn by 16 to P by A. So this is the value we are getting, 5 Zn by 16 to P by A. So as in the case of generator which I have shown. So here EB is equal to also the same value we have taken. So here EB is equal to also 5 Zn by 16 to P by A. So the same value. So whatever the generator EG we are getting, so the same expression we can go for EB value also. So as in the case of motor, there is no change in the value of the EMF which is produced as in the case of motor or generator. The value should be the similar, 5 Zn by 60 into P by A volts. So why you are calling as back EMF as in the case of motor case? So here as soon as the armature starts rotating, so armature we have taken as rotating part, so there will be dynamically induced EMF which is produced in the armature conductors. So here there is a dynamically induced EMF, that is nothing but when you are changing the supply voltage, definitely there is a change in the induced EMF. So that is what back EMF as in the case of motor, and generated EMF as in the case of generator. So that's why there will be what type of EMF which is nothing but dynamically induced EMF we can say as in case of motor. So here direction of the induced EMF is found by Fleming's right hand rule, which is direct opposition to the supply voltage. So here direction of induced EMF, that is nothing but in case of generator, so we are going for right hand rule, and in case of motor left hand rule which is showing. So the EMF which is referred as back EMF. So here as in the case of this diagram, so equivalent circuit of the DC motor which is represented, so which I have shown already as in the case of DC generator how we have developed, and similar way we can go for here as in the case of DC motor also the equivalent circuit of DC motor. So here if you consider this EB, so whatever the back EMF and supply voltage, So if you observe, so both are in the opposing direction. So that is nothing but here if you are changing the supply voltage, that leads to change in the back EMF also. So that is nothing but, so these are both, when you are changing supply voltage, definitely there will be change in back EMF value also, that is pi Zn by 60 into P by A also, and these both are in opposing direction. So if you observe here clearly in the equivalent circuit, V is in the downward direction and back EMF is in the upward direction. So that is what which is representing this equivalent circuit as EB is always opposing the sudden change in voltage. So that is nothing but, so here counter EMF I can call it as back EMF or counter EMF or opposing voltage. So sudden opposing change in supply voltage also I can call. So that's what we can call it as EB is back EMF or counter EMF I can say that. So here EB which is representing exactly back EMF or counter EMF. These are the different names we can call it for, as in the case of motor case. So this is the total equivalent circuit diagram of the motor which I am showing here. So EB which is in up and V is in the downward, and here this is the shunt field. So this is the equivalent circuit of the shunt motor. And similarly here, how many types of motors we have? So that is nothing but, similarly here we can say that there are same as that of the DC generator. So similar here in the last class we have discussed, when we are discussing about DC generator part, there are three different types of self-excited type generators. So we have separately excited type and self-excited type. So as in the case of self-excited type, we have shunt generator, series generator and compound generator, and also there are some other types of compound generator. So as per your knowledge, so there is no need to discuss about types of compound generators. So as per your syllabus, so no need to discuss about different types of compound generators. So at least you should know these are the types of, so what are the types of motors here? So similarly we have shunt motor, series motors and compound motors. So these are the three types of motors which are comes under self-excited type. So these are the three types of self-excited type of the DC motors. So here which I have shown exactly what is this equivalent circuit, that is nothing but, so this is also representing series type, shunt type of the motor. This is the shunt type. Shunt type is nothing but here, so whatever the field winding which is connected in shunt with the armature winding. So if this armature winding and shunt field winding, these both are connected in parallel, then we can say that this is called shunt type of motor. If this shunt field winding which is connected in series with the armature winding, then we can take it as series motor. So based on this, so shunt and series type of motors could be represented. So these are the different types of motors. So shunt type, series type, and similarly we have compound type of motors also. But what is the basic difference between here these two, generator and motor? That is nothing but, so here this is electrical input supply we have given, electrical input supply we are giving to this motor, input supply voltage. So here we can take it as V into IA, some V into IA that could be taken as electrical input power, I can call electrical input power, IA which is coming in this way and which is flowing IA. So this is nothing but V into IL, I can write it as load current, V into IL. So IL here which is sharing into two components, one is going to IA and one is going to another current, that is ISH. IL can be leading into, which is taken as IL, which is going to be one of the current IA and the other current is ISH. So this is the shunt field current and this is the armature current, and here EB value and this armature winding which may have some winding resistance that could be taken as RA, and all these things we have discussed in the generator part itself. So according to this equivalent circuit, I can say that according to this equivalent circuit, so here we can apply KVL. So as in this circuit, so we can get, this is the equation of the voltage equation from this. So what is the voltage equation which you can represent here exactly? I marked with some yellow color. V is equal to EB plus IA RA. So if you apply the KVL in the above equivalent circuit, we are going to get, this is the voltage equation of the motor. So that is V is equal to EB plus IA RA, where V is the whatever the input supply we have given to this motor, and EB is nothing but according to the motor principle whatever the back EMF which is produced on the DC motor, and these both are in opposing direction. So that's what counter EMF I can say. And IA RA, that is the voltage drop due to the armature resistance. So IA RA, which is representing voltage drop due to the armature resistance. So these are the main consideration we have taken for developing the voltage equation from this equivalent circuit of the shunt motor. So V is equal to EB plus IA RA, or the same equation we can write it as, so IA RA you bring into left hand side, and this is equal to EB minus V, and here minus IA. So if you simplify, then you will get IA is equal to V minus EB divided by RA. So that is the armature current value, V minus EB divided by RA. And this is okay. Overall, just we have discussed as part of the DC motor. So now again I will summarize. So here when compared to motor case, so motor and generator parts, so there are similar parts as in the case of generator and motor, and there is a basic principle is going to be changing according to that Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, and here how much force or torque which is produced as in the case of DC motor, that can be calculated by using BIL sin theta, and what could be, it is representing BIL and everything which I have shown. So according to the angular position of the rotor, so there will be force which is changing, and whatever the force which is produced on this DC motor, definitely, so here back EMF we are calling, and that back EMF which is always opposing the sudden change in input voltage, whatever the input supply we have given to the motor, and from that we have developed how much back EMF which is produced, and that should be also similar to the same value of the generator, that is phi Zn by 60 into P by A. There is no change in the voltage values, but only Eg is replaced by Eb we are writing as in the case of motor case, that is due to back EMF according to the principle of DC motor, and how it could be represented all the directions of the current and force and magnetic field. So as in the case of motor we are going to use so Fleming's left hand rule, and there is a left hand rule which is showing how what are the thumb and first finger and second finger directions, and from these we can say what is the importance of the back EMF. So that is the according to the back EMF we have discussed, and next we have gone into the representation of the equivalent circuit with same as that of the DC generator. So here this is the basic difference we can observe exactly what is going to be happen as in the case of generator as in the case of motor. So from that we have developed the equivalent voltage equation from the equivalent circuit, and we can write these are the two equations of the DC motor as voltage, how much voltage what is this voltage equation we can develop. Thank you.